Hey, good Wednesday morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa with the MLive Morning Weather Update. How about we talk about a whole bunch of weather, all right? So let me give you a little summary. We have a, nice little snow shield moving through southern half of Michigan right now. I'll show that to you on the radar. I looked at the observations. A lot of observations the last hour or two as the snow is a little intensified. A lot of observations reporting half-mile visibility. That's what we call moderate snow. Half-mile visibility is usually about an inch every 3 hours or so. We're in the last several hours of the storm system. A lot of 3/4 mile visibility observations. We call that light snow. That's usually about an inch every 6 hours or something like that. So that moves through. Then the colder air starts to sweep in. Very frigid, true Arctic air. It looks like Friday morning we have wind chills down to 20 below or colder. Now, I don't predict school closings, but I do know that schools do close when it gets that cold. So you might want to think about parents, what you're going to do on Friday if all of a sudden you get the text or however you get it nowadays and it says, no snow. So also, if you're driving south this weekend, maybe to a vacation spot in the southeast, I've got a big word of warning for you. You gotta leave Friday morning. We'll go over that too because there's a major snowstorm, major ice storm forming to our south. Not for us, but some of the latest data shows that the light snow on the very northern edge of it swings back into just Michigan because it gets a little bit of what we call lake enhancement. All right, so here's current radar. Hey, good morning, Paw. We don't hear from Paw a lot. I've never eaten a pawpaw. I always saw those as a kid in the magazines, and I thought, oh, that would be neat, because even as a kid, about 10 years old, I started growing things with my grandpa. He was a tobacco farmer from Kentucky, but I always saw that Michigan banana, and I always thought it would be good to try. I've never seen one, so I got to get a hold of one of those. All right, so here's your radar. Here's the snow, the darker blue. Grand Rapids area into the southwest. Muskegon reporting heavy snow right now. That's lake enhancement. And then in the southeast, also Ann Arbor reporting half-mile visibility, and Detroit as well at the moment. Okay, so that's going to move out, and then you're looking at the western side of the country and out in the Pacific. That's the next storm system, the major storm system that will be forming to our south. Let's look at what's going to happen here the next couple of days. And I will have a kind of a word of warning for you and kind of a, can we say this? Yeah, we can. A CYA for me. When we get this cold, the lakes are still, not frozen. They're warmer than the air. When we get this cold, Michigan has little various pockets of isolated surprise snow, 2, 3, 4 inches. They didn't say that was going to happen. It's really hard to cover in a statewide forecast. If you're in a local area, you might be able to pinpoint it. But my point is, it's going to be what I call a very dirty snow forecast, in that you'll have little pockets here and there, but in general, we don't have a widespread snowstorm anywhere slated here. So this is today. This is 11 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock. So I'm going to say that the snow's over toward the southwest, will be out of the thumb by 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll call it decreasing snow this morning. Southern Michigan, mostly dry this afternoon. Northern Michigan, again, those pockets of snow can come off of Lake Michigan. And then we do see an uptick in heavy lake effect with what I called yesterday a two-part storm. Another little disturbance tonight. This is midnight tonight. Comes across, and that's probably worth another little coating of 1 or 2 inches in the southern half of the state, just enough to continue to make the road slick. And then by Thursday, as the cold air pours in, the true lake effect starts to develop, and that will drift over into the eastern side of the state too, with scattered amounts. So let's look at some snowfall forecasts here. So this is what we have coming for the rest of this morning. Not a lot, an inch, maybe 2 inches. Muskegon, you're on about the heaviest spot. And then let's jump back to a run that goes out farther. And it'll show you that tonight, this is tonight, that band comes across I-94. So watch out. Tomorrow morning, I-94 could be snowy. And then we turn to the true lake effect on tomorrow into Friday morning. And what does that mean? That means a whole bunch of snow from Petoskey to Gaylord to Grayling to Kalkaska, Charlevoix, all the Traverse City area, Cadillac, Big Rapids, down through Grand Rapids, Muskegon, into Kalamazoo. The heaviest on the cold west wind comes on the west, on that wide southern part of Lake Michigan, right across I-94. Ann Arbor, you could see some areas that get a couple of inches of snow overnight. Okay, now the next storm system, then we'll get to temperatures. So the next storm system appears to be a major ice storm for the south and a major snowstorm. There might be one good part in that after some of the ice, they may warm up for a short time and melt it off. But we could be talking ½ inch to some models indicating up to 2 inches of ice accumulation. So this is Saturday morning. What happens for us is we get the heavy lake effect Thursday into Friday. As the Arctic air moves in Saturday, the lake effect just kind of hugs the shoreline or maybe comes to an end. This is midday Saturday, 1 p.m. And that's why I'm saying if you're heading south to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Gulf Shores, Alabama, very nice place, very popular for Michiganders to go to, and of course Florida, very popular. If you're heading to those places and planning on leaving early Saturday morning, you're gonna run into trouble by the time you get into the hills, mountains, whatever you want to call them, of Tennessee or Kentucky. Remember, this is 1 p.m. Saturday. This is 7 p.m. Saturday. By 7 p.m., it's a full-blown snowstorm in Kentucky and Tennessee. It's a full-blown ice storm with freezing rain falling, Tennessee and Georgia. And then it gets worse Saturday night. And like I said, there's just a little warm wedge Sunday in the south. But also note for us, this storm system is wrapping some light snow back into our area. What could this do for us on the weekend? Because it's so cold, the flake size would be small, so it could snow steadily, lightly Saturday night into Sunday, especially the southeast half of the state, and it might be an inch or two of snow. Reinforce the cold air. This is early next week. The little disturbances continue to come, and out to January 30th and 31st. Do we still get that warm up in the first days of February? I think we do. Warm up to close to freezing or freezing, and everything continues to indicate. Now, this is way out there, but you see rain. So that is just at least an indication that we have some warm up. Not to warm, but some warm up. All right, so why am I warning you about the storm system to the south? Let's go through it. So for us, I think we call it 1 to 3 inches every day, and we can live with that. We know it's not a major snow. This is Saturday. This is by Saturday evening, the snow starting in the south. This is by Sunday morning. This is the ensemble, by the way, so it's a more stable type snowfall forecast. And look what the ensemble does in the southeast part of Michigan for Sunday. 5 inches, Ann Arbor, Detroit. So I'm watching it for you. I already told the bosses at MLive that we might have something a little sneaky on the weekend. for the southeast. You can see for southeast Michigan, and you can see for areas to our south, it's a solid 6 to 10 inch snow. Now look at the ugly part, the freezing rain. We won't have to deal with that, but watch what they have in store in the south, in through Tennessee, the Carolinas, Virginia, northern Mississippi. They have, a half inch to an inch, maybe more in some spots, of ice accumulation coming. And again, I key on the time. What I'm telling people that are emailing me is I'm telling people, get to south of Atlanta about an hour by Friday night, maybe by early Saturday morning. If you wait until Saturday afternoon, you're going to run into this, and I would imagine that would not be fun. All right, so let's talk, do we see any light at the end of the tunnel? Well, I got to be honest, a couple of things here. It does look like the shot of Arctic cold going into Friday, another shot midweek next week, maybe another shot toward the end of next weekend, and then some modification. And the models all continue to show this. A lot of times they back it off and you say, oh, it's never going to happen. Well, first off, it's going to happen, because one thing I can guarantee you is that every day we go into this, we're closer to when the sun can warm us up eventually. But I do think that the first week of February will have a couple of days at least that make it to the freezing mark or warmer, and that's what you're seeing here. Is you're seeing the upper airflow forecast. Let's see, you're seeing the upper airflow forecast here. Got a sneeze coming. Sorry, folks. So here's your polar vortex. That's why it's so cold coming up Friday into the weekend. Here's your major storm, the kink in the jet stream way to the south. There's another lobe of Arctic air, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. And then notice, and you see the orange and say, oh yes, it's going to get warm. No, not warm, but this is not an Arctic flow. So that's how we eventually, as we get into the first days of February, eventually get to 32 degrees. All right, now these are the low temperatures. I was thinking earlier yesterday that we would not have record low temperatures, but now I'm starting to wonder, because the wind direction is going to be key on our low temperature for Saturday morning. If the wind switches to the southeast ahead of that next storm forming and the winds die, that's a real cold morning situation versus a westerly wind. So this is tomorrow morning, not terrible, lows in the teens. This is Friday morning, actual temperature, Friday morning, already down below zero just about everywhere. I'll show you the wind chills in just a moment. This is Saturday morning. This model trying to indicate the lighter wind, the clearing skies inland, and we're talking minus 10 to minus 20 for the actual temperature. Sunday, around zero. Monday, around zero, if not colder. Tuesday, back to 5 to 10 below zero. Wednesday, around zero. Next Thursday, maybe below zero in the morning. So we got 5 or 6 days. This is the 31st, February 1st. And again, this model is cold biased at the end on this run. It continues to kind of show the warm up, but it continues to move it out into the future. Kind of like the carrot in front of the dog at the racetrack or whatever, if they still do that. So this is Friday morning's wind chills. And so I think you're looking at, far southeast, maybe minus 10, but Flint, Oakland County, into the Saginaw area, into Grand Rapids, northward to Traverse City, you're looking at anywhere between minus 20 and minus 30 on wind chill. I don't know if they do school and wait out for buses on that. This is the middle of the day, still minus 25. This is the evening, still minus 25. This is Friday night. This is Saturday morning, wind chill. It's bitterly cold. Doesn't take much. I mean, obviously, on Saturday morning, the actual temperature will almost equal the wind chill. The wind chill will just be a few degrees colder. But if you're minus 10 or minus 15 and the wind chill's 5 degrees colder, you're cold. So, dangerously cold wind chills on the way. All right. If you're not a big, huge, severe winter weather fan, all I can tell you is, time is on your side. That I think in early February there are signs that it may break, and signs that, the polar vortex, when it slips over to this side and rotates around, that's what we're in now, brings several waves of Arctic cold, then it's projected to lift to the northeast, and sometimes then it slips over to the other side of the globe and we go somewhat warmer. We'll watch for that. It's certainly a possibility in the kind of winter pattern we've had this year, and it's certainly what we warned you about and what the National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center warned about in this kind of La Nina winter. They thought that it would be highly variable temperatures. Just think about that. Early December got extremely cold for a week or two. Then we went quite mild into maybe early January. Now we've gone obviously extremely cold. We could go back the other way once again. So there's your weather update. Be careful on the roads. Even if it's not snowing, when the temperature is 0, 5, 10, whatever, you can find icy patches. So always for the next couple weeks, probably give yourselves 15 minutes, half hour extra to get to where you need to go. There's your weather update. And if you're heading south for a vacation, change your plans, get on your horse 6 a.m. Friday, and get to 1 hour south of Atlanta by Friday night. Take care.